Hey folks, welcome to this sharing of GIT videos. Today we'll see about version control system. So first I would like to highlight on version control systems, right? So let's move. So a version control system, what it does, it allows you to keep a track of your files or your collection of files with their history. So by history I mean that it would create a snapshot of that file on a particular point of time, and by snapshot I mean that it will create a version of that file. So the collection of files, it may be a source code, it may be image file or anything that you would like to take, and this collection of files and their complete history are stored in something that we called it as repository. And the process of creating the different versions of this repository is done by version control systems. Okay, so there is a term that we often see known as distributed version control system. So a distributed version control system is nothing but typically it doesn't needs to have a central server along with data. So in this, suppose I am a user, I can directly copy my repository to any remote server, and that repository is located basically on a remote server. That is what I mean. And this copying process is typically called cloning in a distributed version control system. Okay, so each clone contains full history of the files. So I can clone it directly back to my local. I have a local copy and have a repository copy, that is a cloned copy. So so make sure when we are working on GIT, don't try to understand it like I am working on a remote repository. No, you're not working on a remote repository. You are working on a carbon copy of that remote repository in your local repository. Okay, and you need to perform some command or something to do changes to your server repository, and the changes that you have done over in your local repository needs to be in sync with the server repository, or vice versa, you can think of it. So always it should be in sync. Okay, so what is GIT? So GIT is a distributed version control system. It's basically, what do we mean? GIT originates it has its origination from origin from what we call as Linux kernel. Most of you might be knowing Linux kernel development. That time it was originated at that time. So the core of the GIT was written basically in C, but over the time it has evolved and it has been programmed into Java, Ruby, Python, etc. means etc. Okay, so we'll see how a GIT, we need to set up GIT. So first we'll go to GitHub, create an account over here and download GIT client. Oops. Okay, so I will download GIT from this link that's shown over here. Okay, so I'll go down. It's download for Windows. I will download from here. It's downloading. I should not proceed because I have already downloaded. So before that I need to go into this link and just create an account over here. I already have an account. I'll just sign it up for you. So after signing, it looks like something like that. Yeah, so you will have your own repositories. Whatever repositories you have created or saved, it will be shown over here. So I will create a new repository. Give the repository name over here, give some description if you want. You should actually, and initialize with this with the readme file, and just then if you want to add GIT ignore, just add it over here. Okay, so you may choose your language as well, license as well, choose whatever license you want. I have chosen Apache license. You can do it for none for now, just create it. You'll go ahead and you'll see over here it's created over here. I will show you a one that I have recently created. Yeah, this was what it would look like after this is the first look that you'll see. So we'll go over here. We have downloaded it, so I will move into my downloads folder. So then after that I will run github. We'll just do a run. Yes, just do next and make sure, as it's built on Linux kernel while developing it, so you use git bash only. Just click on next, 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 and that's yes, I want to continue, baby. So yeah, that's going on. So let's let it be installed. So after cloning or creating a repository, the user has a complete copy of the repository back to my local system. So suppose you have a repository over in the sub github.com, so you can copy it using the command clone git clone. We'll see it later. So you can configure your repository to be a bare or a non-bare repository. There are two terms that we know: bare repository or non-bare repository. Bare repositories are used on servers to share changes among different developers, but a non-bare repository allows you can create new changes through modification of files and to create new version in the repository. This is a non-bare repository. If you want to delete, you can simply delete which contains the repository. Okay, so there are terms known as remote repositories, there are terms known as branches, there are terms known as cloning, there are terms known as staging, committing, adding. So we'll look more onto it in the next upcoming series. So I hope you have understand the basics. If you have any question, please comment, please like it. We'll come back with more. Stay tuned. Thank you.